This is Scott Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio. SoCal Sports Talk. Here's Scott Kaplan, Alex Padilla, and John Browner.
Yo, what is up, everybody? Kaplan and Crew with just the crew today. Alex Padilla, John Browner, and of course, always filling in for us. Hooking it up as always, Jason Lawhead with you on a Monday, September 19th. And what a weekend it was. We are brought to you by the 7 Mile Casino, 7milecasino.com, just minutes from downtown San Diego, with all of your favorite table games, and now with a Sammy's restaurant and full bar. So you can get yourself an espresso martini at 7 Mile Casino. And remember, it's all for fun. So if you have any problems, call 1-800-GAMBLER. We're here. It's a Monday. And fellas, I got to tell you, I had myself quite a weekend. I think I basically did a stadium tour of San Diego because I was at the San Diego Wave game Saturday night. It was a packed house for that. 32,000 people in attendance. They broke the record for NWSL most ever attended female soccer match in the country's history. And then last night, worked my way to downtown, and I was at Bad Bunny with about 50,000 other people. It was ridiculously crowded. And you know who was there, fellas? You know who was there?
Tatis.
I think he was the only one not there, Browner.
Really?
I'm telling you, Soto, Machado, Musgrove, Mania, like AJ Preller, everybody. I looked over. I was literally on the same level as the owner's suite.
Oh, wow.
Diplo, our friend Diplo,
Shout out.
You remember him?
Mm-hmm.
He opened the show yesterday. So at 7:00, people filling in, people getting in line or whatever for merch, which we can talk about later. It's a whole other thing. I looked to the owner's suite because I'm sitting like right there. And I'm like, oh, there's nobody in there, but it's set up for something. And I was like, oh. And then I looked at the schedule. I actually didn't put two and two together. My buddy was like, the Padres play tomorrow? I was like, I don't know. Let me look it up. They were in Phoenix. They won 3-4, by the way. We'll talk about that.
Oh, yeah. We're going to talk about that.
Oh, we're going to talk about that. That's a 45-minute, 1-hour flight back from Phoenix. If that. They feel good. They look good. Soto hit a home run. They go home. They get dressed. Diplo's playing. Diplo finishes. I look over. That's Juan Soto. I think that's Juan Soto. Yeah, that's definitely Juan Soto. I look over some more. That's Manny Machado. A "Let's Go Padres" chant breaks out.
Nice.
In our section.
That's awesome.
The players start acknowledging everybody. And as like the night fills out, that owner suite gets packed. And you look in there and you see you just start picking people off. You're like, oh, there's Mania, there's Musgrove, there's Cronenworth, there's this, there's that. And yeah, man. So the Padres enjoyed themselves a great series victory over the Diamondbacks. And then 100,000 other people did in San Diego. They enjoyed themselves some Bad Bunny.
I took in the soccer game with the baby girl. It was a pretty interesting experience. I was happy to see that they were able to fill that stadium up with that many people to watch a women's soccer game. So it was a good game. I mean, I really didn't know half of what I was watching. They won. I didn't see the score because I was taking my daughter to get Dippin' Dots.
1-0.
I mean, yeah. Great seats. We had great seats. It was a good
you
time.
missed the goal.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I missed the goal too.
That's hilarious.
I missed the goal too.
Shout out to Craig Elston. I didn't even know Craig was the voice from that. And Craig sounded great.
Nice.
The stadium looked great. Again, that's a great building. I have 100% cemented my opinion about that stadium. It's great. It's great.
It's 100.
Yeah.
Jason, have you been to that stadium yet?
No, and I saw Alex, I saw your post. I think I liked it because it was such a cool post. You got such a great angle at the crowd being all hyped up, and when you said you were there, and I was like, man, I would love to be there right now. That was one of those types of, if you were to tell me at all, hey, I've got tickets to a women's soccer game. Not that it's just women's. I'm just not a fan. Like Browner said, I really don't know what I'm watching other than guys and girls kicking the ball around and trying to get it towards that goal.
It's the easiest sport to get, though.
It probably is. It probably is, but I've just neglected to just be whatever. I'm not gonna be like it's a terrible sport. I just have never been introduced to it to enough to a point where I've enjoyed it. I've always obviously been handed the meat and potatoes of sports since the time I could even stand up on my feet, and that's just the way it is. But that picture, that scene that you showed, I'm a guy. I like events. I like new things. I'm willing to, especially as I get older, I'm willing to open a new book, so to speak. So yeah, I think I really would love to take my wife down to something like that, because she's always given me a hard time. My wife is always just like, why do you like that about us? Why don't you watch the WNBA? And I'm like, she's like, you love basketball. She puts all these like lawyer questions at me. I'm like, okay, I'll watch a game. Leave me alone.
Fine.
All right,
I'll
I'll
do it.
watch. But no, that was really cool, and I was like, man, that looks awesome. So it's good to know also, being here, having a team like that it was supported like that. It's great to know, like,
And it's affordable too. That's the thing
Yeah.
about that stadium so far. I mean, I think it more to the teams that play there. I mean, I think if you had an NFL team for whatever reason, the tickets wouldn't be affordable, but they're affordable because
the tickets I had with an NFL team, those would have been $400.
yeah,
a
I was
piece.
sitting 4th row on the corner.
Yeah, those look
and
like great seats.
It's like $30 a ticket.
Wow.
And my buddy wanted to come, but he didn't buy tickets, so we checked the Game Time app. You can get in the door for $12. You get in the door for $12, and I haven't been up to the top sections yet. I don't know what it's like up there.
Yeah, I ain't
because
going.
I'm a coastal elite. I sit lower level.
Yeah.
But I've heard
100s for me.
and I actually finally sat down in my seat, and I don't know where Gary's sitting, but he must have like toddler chairs because I was fine. I was totally fine. Like, and I'm the biggest guy on the show, and I had absolutely no problem with the seat whatsoever. Like none, zero. So my biggest problem with Snapdragon, and this is just probably a drinker's issue, is their cup holders are attached to the seats in front of you. So if the person is moving,
right,
your
wobbly.
drink gets I literally that dude sitting in front of me cost me at least $5 on my beer because he was moving, and if you lean back, the cup holder is attached to the seat, so that the cup holder. Anyways, that's just a minor thing, but no, man, it's amazing, Jason. Like honestly, when you pull up, I don't think Snapdragon visually from the outside looks like anything special.
It doesn't.
It looks almost incomplete, to be honest. Like it doesn't. You have these black light posts that don't have any lights on them, and you're like, are they even done? But then you get in there and you see that they dug down, and it's just like it's a lot more expensive than what you think, and it's all set up perfectly. Like last night at Bad Bunny, lines everywhere for the bathroom. Like bathroom lines were a thing. At Snapdragon, I get it. It's not. There was only 32,000 people, not 50,000. There's so many bathrooms, dude. Like I know that's like such a minor thing.
No, it's not.
There's no lines anywhere like for bathrooms. It's crazy.
I love a lot of bathrooms. As I get, I like to have beers at games and stuff. I hate stadiums that you have to go search for them and the lines are long, because especially as you get older, right? You can't hold it like you used to. Yeah, get a couple of beer,
Tell me about it, dude.
Yeah. So so I'm just saying, like, that has always been like oh man, the bathrooms suck here. I hate that. And I won't go back to a stadium sometimes if I'm like, that was the great thing about the Carolina game. I had a buddy who had club seats. So you're in the club level, you got the bars and the lounges, and you get to use nice restrooms that nobody else in the stadium gets to get in line for. That is the way to go.
Since we're on the topic of the game and Saturday and Snapdragon, if you park in a lot that says $350 towing, they will tow you, and there's a gigantic camera in the parking lot, they're gonna tow you, bro. They're gonna tow you. As I'm walking back to my car, I see girls crying in the parking lot. I see families distraught. I see dudes yelling at each other. Bro, if you park in there, have the 350. Have the 350. Call your Uber, which is another 40 or 50 because it's surge where you're at that point in time. So it's a good $400 to park if you want to park at a place that says don't park here.
Right.
It blows my mind. They tell
it's
you
also
go ahead.
It's gonna change a lot because right now it's just the stadium.
Yeah.
So they have all these dirt lots that are not going to be there, and it's going to be even. I don't know. I don't know where people are gonna get in from. Like, I
The
just
trolleys
don't.
still go there, right?
Yeah,
But
I mean,
nobody's doing that.
I think they're gonna rely heavy on the trolley,
They're gonna need to.
but I don't know what they're gonna do, man, because it was a disaster getting in there. A disaster. I came from Mira Mesa. I was at an Oktoberfest, and I came from Mira Mesa, so I was coming south, and I got off on Friars. When I tell you, I passed Arrow, and I was in traffic from Arrow Drive till the stadium for an hour. I am not exaggerating.
Oh.
For an hour.
Oh.
An
Well, they've got to
hour.
fix that problem if they ever think they're going to get into the Pac-12, because you're going to have teams that will travel. And if that's going to be a concept, I mean, if it's already a little problem and you're just starting to do soccer games, obviously it was like a 32,000, but like, if you want Arizona State to come here, USC will be gone. But like even the Cals, I mean, these fans travel to
Oregon.
Stanfords, the Oregons, like they want to go watch their teams on the road. They bring the RVs, they fly in from everywhere, they get rental cars, they drive from the state over or wherever they're at. And so that's got to be a problem that's going to have to be either, built up better or solved in certain lot
Yeah.
situations.
I think right now everybody's driving, so
Right.
because there is parking. But now when that parking isn't there, what is it gonna look like? How are you gonna get in there? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so
Right.
it'll be interesting, man. It'll be super interesting. But as of now, I'm in love with Snapdragon
It's great.
Stadium, man.
It's
Good.
great.
I
I
love it.
100% agree.
They got
Love it.
Toledo, I think, coming up. I might have to go see
Yeah.
them play Toledo
Toledo's Saturday at 12:30.
Saturday.
I
Yeah, I
think
might
on
have
Fox Sports 1, I
I
believe.
might have to go check that out, actually.
It
Get a
was the
look at
first
game.
night game there, and it's just great under the lights, man.
Looks
It's great
great.
under
Yeah.
the lights. It
Yeah,
is
dude,
fantastic.
it looked awesome. I remember
Yeah.
going, man, that looks amazing, dude.
But other than that, you know,
I seriously
I
thought you were in
tried.
another city or a country when I first saw it. I was like, where is that? Oh, wow, that's here. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah, and I got a credential again, Browner. And so I like to like explore the stadium with the credential, and I want to get familiar with like the ins and outs of it, like I was with like Qualcomm and I am with Petco, because like that's kind of like, I don't know, people don't care about this stuff, but I am always curious to see like what the inner workings of the stadium looks like, and maybe I'll go.
you love a rendering, don't you?
I love a good rendering. Love a good rendering. And we're getting lots of those at the sports arena. Other than that, yesterday, before I headed out to downtown for Bad Bunny, I was trying to watch football, but the NFL Sunday ticket didn't let me watch football again.
Poo-pooed everybody.
Back-to-back weeks of issues, and I don't know if you guys have the Sunday ticket. I
don't.
have the Sunday ticket through the stream, the online. I don't have DirecTV at the house, so I got it the streaming one. So I put it's an app on my smart TV, and I would say probably mid second quarter of the first games just totally went out. Completely went out. And I got stuck watching Patriots Steelers on CBS.
It was, and listen, that was a vomit game
Yeah.
because I was stuck watching it too. The DirecTV stream, the NFL Sunday Ticket stream has never been great. I just want to say that to begin with. It's never been great, but it can't go out. Like
back-to-back weeks.
Like people will watch something that looks like John Madden 1994 because you're just looking at the colors at one point. But come on, like to go out like nothing. You can't have that. You can't have that. And they're not giving no refunds or nothing, bro. They're not addressing the situation. It's one of the most. It sucks because it's them saying, "Well, what are you going to do about it? Where are you going to watch the game?"
Right. That's what happens when you have monopoly.
Yeah. What are you going to do, Mr. Out of Market? What are you going to do? Where are you going to watch the game at? Some bar? Good luck finding a team bar where you're at.
I wonder how many bars had that issue. How many bars?
They don't stream it. They use it through They use it through DirecTV.
Okay.
It's us.
And I did see that the Sunday ticket apologized. It's like, thanks, bro, but what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah. And this is the last year that DirecTV has the rights to the Sunday ticket.
Which is probably why they're cutting costs and cutting corners to pocket every profit they can on the way out the door.
Everybody's assuming that it's going to go to another streaming service, maybe Amazon, since they have that relationship already. Maybe Apple's wants it. Everybody wants it. So, yeah, man, that was brutal. But because there was such great games yesterday, Like as much as the
Endings,
matchups, we talked about it.
the great endings.
We talked about it on Friday, Browner, and I don't know how much you and Lawhead got into it on your show. Like the matchups themselves, when you look at them on paper, you're like, that's
Yeah.
not sexy at all. Like
Right.
that look. I mean, Rams, Falcons, no thanks. Jets, Browns, where Scott was in Cleveland.
Right.
Jason, sorry, no thank
No,
you.
I'm with you. You're right.
Commanders,
He was saying no
Lions.
thank you at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Commanders, Lions. Like,
Yeah.
what? Saints, Bucks, that's okay. But then it turned out to be the worst game, maybe, of the week. Giants, Panthers, nobody cares. Patriots, Steelers, on paper, you're like, okay, this one's good. But then you realize, wait, it's not Tom Brady and Ben Roethlisberger. It's Mac Jones and Mitchell Trubisky. Colts, Jaguars. I don't know what the hell is wrong with Matt Ryan, but he's cooked. He's done.
It's he old.
Dolphins, Ravens. Now, this is the one where it's intriguing because I think Miami, I said it on Friday, I think Miami's good. I genuinely believe in their head coach. I think they're super talented, but it's Tua. Like, you only go as far as Tua takes you. And we had a quarterback duel in Baltimore.
We did.
Where Lamar, pay that man, was trending yesterday. And I was like, why is Musgrove trending? Like, is Musgrove doing good? Because I know the Padres. But it was for Lamar because he had such an incredible game. He threw for over 300. He ran for over 100. I think he had like 4 total touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
It was, and they were blowing the doors out of the Dolphins. When they entered the fourth quarter, it was 35-14. And you're like, well, this game's done. And then I don't know what the hell happened, but Tua became Alabama Tua.
Prevent defense happened. The Ravens coaching staff lost this game. Period. End of story. The Ravens coaching staff lost this game. Going into the fourth quarter, Lamar Jackson had literally destroyed them. Destroyed the Miami defense. And then they come out, the offense goes basically prevent offense. And then the defense goes prevent defense. And then Jalen Waddle, who, by the way, is way faster than I thought he was. And Tyreek Hill literally just got open. And I mean open with no one around him. No one around him. And they just started scoring and scoring and scoring.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got the momentum. And once you get the momentum, and then the offense doesn't have rhythm anymore because they're solely based on running the ball, it was over. It was over.
It took Mike McDaniel 2 weeks to learn Andy Reid's favorite play. Throw it to Tua. Throw it to Tyreek. Throw it to Tyreek. Like, at the end of a game, if you need a play, just throw it to Tyreek.
Let him loose and throw it to him.
Yeah. And it's not even like necessarily the deepest balls. I mean, he did catch a big
wide open
touchdowns. But when
he gets open in those slanted areas on the field, and then he has yards to just run. It's amazing where he gets.
And when you throw in Waddle, who at Alabama was amazing, but he got hurt, and that's all. I think that's what I remember.
That's what I remember too.
Championship game, he was hurt, so we didn't really, he was Devontae Smith's the Heisman finalist. You got all these other guys that took the attention, but I think everybody thought Waddle's the best receiver here, but he's just hurt. And now you're seeing it. He's legit back-to-back weeks, over 100 yards, to like 3 or 4 touchdowns already on the season. What an incredible ending, though. You're right, Browner. The games weren't necessarily fantastic, but the endings turned out to be great. And in that Bucs Saints game, that's not really breaking news at this point if you're watching. You guys see Mike Evans laid out Lattimore, and then he got caught by the cameras saying, "What the F you want me to do?" That's Tom Brady that he's messing with. NFL suspends him for 1 game. That makes no sense to me, but he will appeal.
As he should.
But that was really it there. And then the Jets. Jason.
Explain that, man.
We have 2 minutes. I don't know if that's enough time to let you go off on what happened in Cleveland. And I know tomorrow when Scott gets here, he'll obviously react to it. I'm sure he was happy that his boy, what was it? I'm looking at it now. You guys had a 30-17 lead with 35 seconds remaining?
Yeah.
No.
With a minute 34. I think.
Yeah, and then somehow, some way, the Jets win the game 31-30. Before you go off, I want to let you go off uninterrupted. I don't want the commercial to interrupt you, because you guys made like I said, Tua looked like Alabama Tua. You guys made Flacco look like Baltimore Flacco, elite Flacco at the end of that game, because I don't know what happened there, but it was incredible, absolute scenes. We are brought to you by 7 Mile Casino. We are also brought to you by DraftKings, and I get it. We're in California. We can't necessarily do these things unless you have a VPN that you can do these things. But The NFL action is in full swing at DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the NFL. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 on any NFL team and win and get $200 in free bets if you win. So here's what you got to do. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code GREATFRIENDS, all caps. Use the promo code GREATFRIENDS to get $200 in free bets. If your team wins when you place just a $5 bet on any football game, that's code GREATFRIENDS only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. In the YouTube, you can see the notes below in the description for the disclaimer that is really, really long that I don't have to read, so I'm not going to read it. When we come back, we will talk about Lawhead's Browns, and then we're going to get into what happened with the Padres this weekend. I made the joke on Friday. The doctor that punctured Tyrod Taylor's lung should have got a raise. I didn't know he was still employed by them, but now Tyrod Taylor's suing him. Let's talk about all that stuff when we come back. This is Kaplan and Crew, kaplanandcrew.com.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal.
Rome comes home. Yes, I said it. You can now catch the Jim Rome Show Monday through Friday, noon until 3 p.m. on the mightier 1090 ESPN Radio. Back to San Diego, where it all started, on the mightier 1090 ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk.
Let's welcome back to Main Street Living tax attorney Adam Brewer. Adam, thanks so much for joining us again.
Yeah, thanks for having me back.
Now, it might seem weird that we're having you on because it's not necessarily tax season right now, but what are some things that viewers can do to get ahead of next tax season?
Yeah, you're right. I apologize. I think most people would prefer to just forget about taxes for this summer. But yeah, if you have some downtime, always a good opportunity to kind of get ahead for next season. So really what I'm preaching is, just become more knowledgeable about your taxes. Everyone come tax season can benefit from having a little more knowledge and just being a little bit less stressed about the whole process of getting their taxes filed and getting them paid. All this information is available online, but it's really a mess. So it just gets back to my first point, just start with your own taxes. And then if you need to dig in on one or two issues, it's just a Google search away.
Gotcha. Google search away. Now, let's just say someone is interested, like Danielle is interested in becoming more knowledgeable about her taxes. Like, how should someone like her get started?
Yeah. So Danielle, you're interested. You should start with, your last year's tax return. So I'd say get out your last year's return. Form 1040s, going to be the first page there. And really look and see what lines are populated. And then, make sure you understand those roles. So if you have dividend income and you see, what's a qualified dividend, go in and figure it out. Likewise, if you see anything that's missing. So, a lot of taxpayers now are paying a ton in student loan interest. And then they look at their tax return and they go like, well, that's limited to $2,500. That would be a role that you'd want to dig in and really figure out how it impacts your actual tax return. When in doubt, save for retirement. It's either, for most taxpayers, it's either going to save you money today, tax-wise, or it's going to help you reduce your tax burden in the future.
Awesome.
So important. Thank you. Thank you so much, Adam. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you.
Main streets are the heart of our communities, where we connect with our neighbors, support local businesses, and share new adventures. Main Street Living celebrates all of this, bringing you uplifting stories with guests from across the country and your community. Main Street Living covers what's important to you today, from our street to your street. Join Cheryl, Danielle, and Quincy for Main Street Living, Mondays at 9 on Your View.
Welcome back. This is Scott Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio. SoCal Sports Talk. Here's Scott Kaplan, John Browner, and Alex Padilla.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Kaplan and Crew. Alex Padilla, John Browner, and Jason Lawhead. The crew is with you guys today. Scott will be back tomorrow. And the rest of the week, he's coming back from Cleveland after going to the Browns. Choke job of a game against the Jets. I'm sure he'll have some interesting thoughts. I wonder what those conversations were like with Alex Van Pelt, the offensive coordinator, after the game. But yeah, if you missed Jason's full football analytical breakdown of that loss last segment, so just rewind and you'll check it out. Listen, man. As someone that's a Vikings fan and someone that's a Bears fan, we know what it's like. And Jason, you more than anybody, what it's like to root for bad teams.
Man.
So those, when you have wins like that, they're very, really, really, really tough.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have a Super Bowl. You at least have been to some as far as fans of
Not my
that team.
lifetime.
I've never been to one at Browner. It's been a long time, but he at least has that, like, highlight film of the Sweetness Bears of '85 to go look back on, and at least know that they have one. I mean, it's brutal here as a Browns fan.
Yeah. So, the Vikings have been to 4 Super Bowls and they lost all 4. So, but I wasn't alive for any of them. So,
right.
They don't
still,
count. The biggest news, though, of the weekend definitely came out of what happened in San Francisco. Trey Lance suffered a season-ending broken ankle, and yesterday when you watched the injury, kind of hard to see what happened. But this morning when I was cutting up the clip, you see that his ankle kind of got stuck. He got tackled back, and you see the ankle just turned the wrong way. And here's the play.
Just plants and gets rolled over.
Yep, just got planted, rolled over, and you see the ankle right there. It's just not moving. It's just not moving.
He tried to get up on it because he's like, that hurt. Tried to get up and was like, oh no.
Like the foot was nailed to the ground when he got hit, and there was nothing, like his body wouldn't even if he voluntarily wanted to try to move his foot, it was not going to happen.
Yeah, it was one of those things too where you knew it was serious.
Yeah.
When every player goes up to you and gives you that. On the broadcast, though, you're just like, what happened? Was it concussion? Was it like, but then you see the ankle just there and you're like, oh, wow.
I knew it was bad when I saw a couple of 49ers walking away from the injury with their hands on their helmets or their head down. Like, I knew that was really, really bad. But it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. But I got to tell you, they're better with Jimmy Garoppolo.
You know what, dude?
Not even.
Why do we agree when Scott's not here? I'm telling you, this is. Listen, I feel terrible for Trey. He's going to have a long rehab. He's going to have a long rehab, and I hope he gets better and he gets a shot to prove what he actually can do because he hasn't had that yet. But as far as football goes, this is the best thing that could happen to the Niners, man. Like, because now, unless you believed in Trey Lance, which I don't know how many people did. I was not one of them. I was not one of them. I mean, the kid barely played in college. He played in D2. He barely played last year. And the first week didn't even count because it was in a monsoon.
Right.
And then now, this was what, in the first quarter? So,
first series, I think it was.
We've never really seen Trey Lance at all. But you know that, yes, the reason you haven't won a Super Bowl is probably because of Jimmy Garoppolo. But the reason that you've been to Super Bowls is because you have him at quarterback. I don't know how else to say it. Like, I don't think they're going to win a Super Bowl this year with Jimmy Garoppolo. But now that I think that there's a chance they can get back there.
Right.
That team is stacked defensively. Stacked defensively. And but now they've suffered 2 major injuries in the offensive side. Elijah Mitchell, the running back's out for however long.
Well, running backs are replaceable.
In San Francisco, they are all replaceable.
Yeah.
Because they just, it's like next guy up. It's a
system run game. One cut.
The Niners no longer have the distraction of Jimmy G behind Trey Lance. The Niners don't have to have 15 team captains go to Trey Lance every single week anymore. The 49ers now have familiarity with the quarterback. Now, the thing is,
they also know what offense they're running now.
Right. Which I don't. But the thing is, how much effort did the organization take into having the players buy into Trey Lance? Like, it's weird now. It's weird because you benched Jimmy. You wanted to trade Jimmy, but nobody wanted him.
Luckily for you.
So you gave him a new contract, a no trade clause, but you really focused all your offseason on, we need everybody to buy into Trey Lance. Everybody has to buy into Trey Lance. And now he's gone and Jimmy's back, but you're like, wait, I thought we didn't want Jimmy now, but now we got to rely on Jimmy now. Like it's just a weird. It won't be a story next week, but like right now, it's got to be weird. But Brad,
I
you're
think it's
right.
a collective sigh of I think it's a collective sigh of relief if you're front
Mhm.
office all the way down to the locker room, because what you just explained was you now even if there was guys that were bought into the Trey Lance thing, you don't have to explain to them anything. You don't have to, like, if this would have been his chance, right? And that's what's unfair is for poor Trey. Yesterday should have been his chance to see whether he was the goods, at least against Seattle. He didn't get off to that start, so that sucks. But now, if he was bad against Seattle yesterday and you lose, and or if you just sneak out a win but play terrible on the offensive end against a team that's not very good, now you have to kind of still go on with him. And the guys that believe in Jimmy G and maybe the front office is going like this, oh gosh, we got to get Jimmy G. This is almost we don't have to explain why. I mean, he broke his ankle. He's out.
This
Jimmy G's the quarterback. Everybody that believed in Jimmy
The way it
G,
happened
great.
this
was
was the
awful for
best.
Trey and the
Yes.
best for the organization.
This was
Yes,
the best case
exactly.
scenario for
Yes.
all parties involved.
Right.
Except Trey
He's
Lance.
not ready to be
Right.
what they need to compete, and you could see that he's running too much. He's running too much, and so therefore he can't make the plays yet. Because I believe he will at some point. He can't make the plays right now with his arm that the team needs. He would be
Right.
great in Detroit because
Yes.
you could just let him figure it out. He would be great in Houston because you could just let him figure it out. Or Seattle, he'll figure
Right.
it out. You can't do that in San Francisco because that team is
They're ready to
built
win
to
now.
win right now. And so
And as you mentioned, their run scheme doesn't they want to win games in the trenches, right?
Right.
So their run scheme blocking, it doesn't suit a running quarterback. They don't need offensive linemen scattering around wondering where he wants to
Right.
go. They need to go block on assignments for a running game and a running game. And if a play breaks down, great, Jimmy G goes out, runs off the sidelines for 5 or 6 yards if he can. But you want to use these weapons and then sneak the Deebo Samuel jet sweep or the end around or all these other things. But like, it's a sigh of relief for this team, and to have it happen so early. So now Jimmy can get on the schneid and win a few in a row and get these guys rolling. It's almost like, that's exactly what the lightning strike bolt was that they needed, I think, to actually have the kind of season they're capable of. Because like you said, Jimmy G was a fourth quarter away from being a Super Bowl champion with this team. And now they've got better
and
they've got better players.
Yeah, we're talking about bad coaching and coaching not to lose. There you go. Kyle Shanahan in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs.
Mhm.
It's an epidemic. It's an epidemic.
Yeah,
your
now the
mask
Broncos, the 49ers, now they're going into like a nice stretch here the next 2 weeks, because I think it was everybody I think assumed that the Niners were going to start 2-0, but then the monsoon
False.
happened and not you, but in San Francisco, I'm saying everybody was like 2 warm-up games
Yeah.
for Trey Lance,
Two preseason games
two
for Trey
preseason
Lance.
games for Trey Lance against the Bears and against the Seahawks. The Seahawks are not good.
No.
The Bronco, I don't know what the hell they.
Mm-mm.
Geno
Not
Smith
good
had a
either.
really good first quarter, a decent second quarter, and now he's Geno Smith again.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
what we all expected.
They
Like,
were so amped up, they were able to play one good half enough, and it was enough to win a football
all
game.
the Broncos lost that game. The
I would
Seahawks didn't win that
agree to
game.
that.
Yes,
Because
of
when you
course.
fumble twice in the red zone like that, at the goal line, not the red zone, in the goal
Right.
line.
Sure.
So now the San Francisco, they go to Denver Sunday night against the Broncos.
Spank 'em.
Then they follow Monday night against the Rams. So you were going to have a big spotlight on the kid, 2 back-to-back primetime games,
Mhm.
and you don't really know. But now you do know. You know what you got in Jimmy G. You know his ceiling is not a high ceiling. It's not vaulted penthouse apartment ceiling.
Mm-mm.
It's a nice, flat
Mm-mm.
first, second floor type ceiling. You got neighbors on top of you. So they
You got
know
a good
what
balcony though. You got a good balcony.
yeah. We're
But
describing
that-
my house right now.
You got a
I
good
got
balcony.
neighbors upstairs.
You can see the neighborhood.
I got a hella good balcony though. I got a
Mhm.
hella good balcony, and I use hella there because we're talking about San Francisco. But yeah, I think now all the distractions about quarterback is out the door. I think Kyle Shanahan knows what he's got. I think Jimmy G knows I have to prove myself this year, or I
So
may
this
be
is it.
This is it. I might be not out of the league, but he's definitely not starting anywhere
Listen,
next
man,
year.
I will ask this question right now because this team can get to the Super Bowl. The path is there. The NFC is not awesome. If you get back to the Super Bowl as Jimmy G, and just for the sake of conversation, you win it, there's a real conversation of what do we do with Trey Lance?
Yeah.
Because if I'm San Francisco and this guy won the Super Bowl for us and took us to another Super Bowl, yes, we drafted this kid. We gave up a lot to get him. Somebody else give us half of what we gave up and you could have him.
What if you
Absolutely.
What if you don't even win the Super Bowl? What if you get back to the NFC Championship?
You could
What if
you could still say he can't take us over the top.
What
The
if you win
problem
the-
is people
Yeah.
have seen enough of Trey Lance to go, well, damn, he can't either.
You can win. They could win the division.
Yeah.
Like they could
Oh,
win
yeah.
the division. The Cardinals are
yeah.
up and down, inconsistent.
Yeah.
The Rams, in my
And they-
opinion, took a step back this year. I don't think they're as
Their
good.
defense ain't the same.
And their offense.
And those
is
two
not
play
the
each other
same.
this Sunday. They play each other, and that'll be a good gauge, depending on what
Yeah.
San Francisco does in their game to kind of weigh like the power ranking in that. Like, wow, no,
Yeah.
San Francisco.
Well, San
is the
Francisco
bread and
has their
butter.
number. San Francisco has the Rams number. Like they've whooped them like
Until
5
that
of the
last game,
six
until
times.
finally,
Till the
but
playoff
yeah,
game.
but
Yeah.
right.
The 49ers, they have a pretty tough schedule when you take a look at it. Obviously, I talked about the back-to-back primetime games at Broncos versus the Rams. And you get two very winnable, easy games. I would say not easy, but at the Panthers, at the Falcons. So they got to go to the East Coast back-to-back weeks. But then, again, Chiefs, Rams, Chargers, Cardinals, Saints, Dolphins, Bucks. So I think
Falcons are punchy.
Falcons, they showed fight yesterday.
They're
Yeah.
punchy.
This
And
week
listen,
two, everybody's got fighting.
but look at week one. They blew a massive
They-
lead to the Saints, and the Saints look like their defense is no
Right.
joke. Like that game
Right.
yesterday between the Bucks and the Saints was a defensive battle. Like it was the old school Steelers Ravens games back in the day.
I mean, a lot of people going into the season thought this Falcon team was kind of just built to roll over and be one of the top 2 or 3 picks, in next year's draft because of what decisions they decided to make. But they're and maybe they still will, they'll just have a lot of games like this. There was a Lions team a few years ago that was like, 2-14, and they must have lost, 10 of them within 3 or 5 points. They just fought, but they couldn't win. So
Yeah, it'll
But
be really
yeah, I
interesting to
mean-
see what happens in that division now because I think Jimmy G, in my opinion, Jimmy G brings the Niners back to like a full-on winning team. And there's no questions about the quarterback anymore. You know what you got. Obviously, there's questions about Jimmy Garoppolo. Or let's not act like Jimmy Garoppolo is Tom Brady. Like we know that there are limits to what he can do, but we've already seen what he can do with the team. So all I'm saying is I think the Niners are now.
We've already seen his limits, but we've seen Kyle Shanahan get the maximum amount out of his limits. And I think that's the comfort level that everybody has with this particular situation because we've seen this movie before. It's not a terrible sequel. I'll watch it, but I'm not in there. I'm not going to see it the night it opens.
And I think this feels like it happened a month ago because of so much that happened this weekend. But last we talked to the Great Friends was on Friday, and we talked about Justin Herbert and his injury. It looked like he was severely injured for a while, and then he started throwing dimes somehow. But officially
Greatness, that's not greatness.
diagnosed with, I didn't even know you could fracture cartilage, but he is listed as day-to-day with fractured rib cartilage.
Wow.
Full circle, boys. Follow me. 2021.
Philip Rivers. Oh.
Chargers.
Yeah.
Chargers versus I don't remember who. Week 1 of the NFL season, 2021. Starting quarterback Tyrod Taylor, suffering with a little bit of an injury, kind of dealing with it, but he's gonna play. He's the starting quarterback. Justin Herbert, not ready. Was this 2020? This is 2020, not 2020. And the team
Probably
doctor.
the Raiders. They used to always open with the Raiders.
I'm seeing Bengals.
Okay.
I gotta look it up. Anyways, team doctor. Hey, we're gonna give you an injection in the ribs so you can play because I know you have a little pain management. Injects him, punctures his lung. Out. Justin Herbert gets thrown in. Justin Herbert never looked back. Herbolt was born. Now, Justin Herbert has a rib injury. where he needs injections into his ribs. But
Oh boy.
It was against Kansas City in week 2.
okay, there you go.
Okay.
Now, Tyrod Taylor, who currently is on the New York Jets or Giants, is suing the Chargers team doctor for medical malpractice. He's seeking $5 million in, quote, lost wages because, according to his lawyer, it's big difference going into free agency as a starter versus a backup. And the lawyer's saying at least $5 million more if he's a starter. So, everybody was surprised this dude's still working there. And B, does he have a case here?
Sure.
What? Is that even a question?
But like,
it's only $5 million? That's
$5
it?
million.
The doctor punctured his lung, right?
Yes.
Yes. Then he has a case.
As this is from his
And they're not going to do the same thing to Justin Herbert,
They better
right?
not.
You're saying right now. So when court documents start seeing the fact that the Chargers will not do what they did to Tyrod Taylor, or I'm sorry, what's his name?
Tyrod Taylor, Justin
yeah,
Herbert.
Yeah. Yes. What they won't do to him, that they won't do to Herbert, that they did to him, they're not going to choose to risk puncturing this guy's lung, but they risk puncturing this guy's lung. And now he couldn't play because of the punctured lung more than he couldn't play because, and then they didn't obviously do anything to heal the injury. Yeah, he's got a case.
Yeah.
Sure.
So
And I think the Chargers would probably be smart to just pay the man and settle it and move on.
I mean, come on.
Why? $5 million is nothing to these franchises in the league. Like, listen,
Jason,
pay him, sweep it under the rug, and move
Jason.
on.
It's Dean Spanos.
I know, but that's what I mean. He won't, and it'll be a story, and it'll get out, and it's going to look bad. Like, yeah, he's got, of course. And I mean, I'm not even a lawyer, but you could sit there and go medical malpractice. Sure. What were you doing? You were trying to throw me back out on the field. You punctured my lung. You're a doctor. You said that this was going to work. That's malpractice.
It worked all right. It got the franchise quarterback
Well,
on the field fast. So
yeah, and then you know what? They'll probably be able to unfold evidence in an email that says to Spanos, you know what? Go puncture the guy's lung so we can run Herbert out there without any questions.
If I was Dean Spanos, I would pay this and consider it the cost of doing business.
Exactly.
We have now basically had this kid fall into our lap as one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And how much he want? $5 million? Give him $5.5 million.
There it is.
Bye.
Exactly.
Good. Hey, Herbert, go throw 3 touchdowns. We'll make that $5 million back over the weekend.
Exactly.
It ain't a thing, man. Dean, pay this man, dog. Don't put this man through the ring over no $5 million, big boy. You got it. Y'all gonna make that money back. And y'all came out roses after this. Pay the man. Please.
Don't even let this become a story.
It's already a story.
Well, you know what I mean. Don't let it become a court case story.
It's a story that you still employ the doctor.
This is
then fire the doctor and pay the $5 million. I mean, that's the whole, you know what I mean? Like, do whatever you got to do to snuff this thing out and not even make another follow-up story. I don't need Jim Gray on the courthouse steps. I don't need
That
that.
Would be great.
But he's suing the doctor, so I wonder, does the doctor pay it? Does Dean pay it? Does the NFL pay it? Who pays it?
If I am,
you can sue both the team and the doctor.
This is how bad. Again, I like the Chargers. I'm not a fan of Dean Spanos. This is how ignorant they are as an organization to still hire the guy who punctured this man's lung. Like, he is clearly not up to snuff when it comes to doing the job. And you still employed this man. Why? Why? You couldn't find another doctor in Los Angeles that doesn't puncture lungs.
Yeah.
And now it's going to cost you $5 million.
Yeah.
Pay up. Let this go away. Settle out of court. Pay the man. Everybody walk away. Don't turn this into a thing bigger than it already is.
It is funny though, because they probably, like, you could give the guy a raise for what he did.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what? Then fire the doctor, but pay him $5 million and thank you.
Thanks,
Here's $5 million. You go away just so exactly.
You're gonna need this because you're gonna get sued soon. So
if
here's
it wasn't
$5
for
million.
you, Tyrod would have played all season. So thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Do you think Justin Herbert plays next week?
Yes.
Do you think that there's no chance that they're trying to make this seem like not a story, but it is a story?
Oh, I don't trust him.
I don't trust them at all.
I don't trust him on that level. No, could it just be cartilage, but it could hurt like hell.
Because you're looking at the schedule, and I'm like, listen, I know Chase Daniels is your backup quarterback, but you're looking at Jacksonville, Houston, and Cleveland the next 3 weeks. Yeah.
I think they'll play him against Jacksonville because they could beat
Jacksonville's
Jacksonville.
playing
Any
good football
sign,
right now.
any sign of he's hurt, you pull
Out.
him immediately.
Yes, immediately. I agree.
Immediately. It'll be interesting
Well,
to see
if
what
there's
happens.
any pain in throwing the football, if there's any pain in getting under, if there's any pain, you don't play him. It
Right.
isn't worth it. It's week 3. It isn't worth it, right? Like
Right.
the Raiders are 0-2. The Broncos are limping around. Like, don't risk it. It's not worth it. So just, go through a game or two if you have to, but no, it's stupid. The rib, we're talking about the ribs, man.
I
Like
know.
that you don't want that getting worse before it gets better.
Yeah. When we come back, we're going to talk about the great weekend after a little kick in the ass by Bob Melvin that the Padres just had. And maybe I'll show you a terrible picture that I took of the Padres at Bad Bunny because I'm getting roasted on Twitter for it. When we come back, this is Kaplan and Crew, kaplanandcrew.com.
Hunger is a year-round problem. The San Diego Food Bank and our North County Food Bank chapter provide food assistance at locations throughout the county. We need your help. Host a food drive, volunteer, or donate online. Thank you for making a difference.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 AM, ESPN Radio, and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal.
The Rich Eisen Show airs Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. An engaging blend of insightful football expertise with an offbeat mix of humor and pop culture while continuing to attract the most recognizable names in sports and entertainment. Only on the mightier 1090 ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk.
I'm tax attorney Adam Brewer. If you have a serious tax problem with the IRS or state of California, then you don't need a tax relief company, you need a tax attorney. Call or visit my website to schedule your free tax evaluation.
Please welcome 4 of the 5 San Diego County Teachers of the Year from the 2021-2022 school year. From Central Elementary School, Laura Reyes. From Westfield High School, Tiffany Jokers. From San Alfonso Elementary School, Jacqueline Trey. And from St. Joe Chavez Middle School, Todd Sanders. Teachers, please deliver the pitch. San Diego County Teachers of the Year with their honorary pitch.
The 2022 San Diego Loyal season continues. Live on Your View and YourView.com. Watch your San Diego Loyal take on Las Vegas Lights FC, Saturday, September 24th at 7 p.m. Support the San Diego Loyal as they continue their bid for the 2022 USL Championship. Las Vegas Lights FC versus the San Diego Loyal, Saturday at 7 on Your View.
I'm tax attorney Adam Brewer. If you have a serious tax problem with the IRS or state of California, then you don't need a tax relief company, you need a tax attorney. Call or visit my website to schedule your free tax evaluation.
Listen to the Mike Greenberg Show, 7 to 9 a.m. Pacific, Monday through Friday. Greeny brings his unmatched depth of sports knowledge, fun, and entertainment back to ESPN on a daily basis. The Mightier 1090 ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk, and the Mightier1090.com.
Here's Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout with Haley Stasiak.
It's time for some San Diego Loyal Soccer Club updates. The Loyal clinched playoff berth on Saturday with a 3-0 win against Phoenix Rising, snapping a 3-game losing streak as well. Evan Conway got the scoring started in the 54th minute. It was his 9th goal of the season and his 3rd in the last 3 appearances. Kyle Vassell kept it going in the 64th minute with his team-leading 13th goal of the season. Then in the 77th minute, Jackson Kasanzu scored his first goal as a professional player, sealing the 3-0 shutout win. Tumi Moshabe notched his 7th assist of the year on Conway's goal, while Jack Blake recorded his 4th of the year on Kasanzu's. This is the 2nd consecutive year the Loyal has secured playoff berth. This Saturday, the Loyal will look to secure a home playoff match with a win against the Las Vegas Lights. That's your 60-second timeout. Now back to more Kaplan and Crew tonight.
Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout is presented by Your View. You're watching Kaplan and Crew tonight, powered by the Mightier 1090 AM, ESPN Radio, and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal.
Hunger is a year-round problem. The San Diego Food Bank and our North County Food Bank chapter provide food assistance at locations throughout the county. We need your help. Host a food drive, volunteer, or donate online. Thank you for making a difference.
San Diego Varicose Vein Treatment Center, we take care of all various needs of patients for management of their venous insufficiency. People who come here are mainly concerned about symptoms that brings them on or issues related to cosmetic concern that we can always take care of. Now with the advancement of technology and so many catheter-based treatments, we can treat our patients much more quickly, much more comfortably with less downtime. Patients love the result invariably.
It's been a huge impact in my life to feel better, to be able to power walk again. Overall, I'm just feeling like I used to feel when I was a lot younger, and I'm so grateful for this place.
It's a privilege to take care of our patients. It comes from the heart, and I love it.
Please welcome 4 of the 5 San Diego County Teachers of the Year from the 2021-2022 school year. From Central Elementary School, Laura Reyes. From Westfield High School, Tiffany Jokers. From San Jose Elementary School, Jacqueline Jordan. And from St. Joe Southwest Middle School, Zar Sanders. Teachers, please deliver the pitch. San Diego County Teachers of the Year with their honorary pitch.
PNC Bank specializes in a full suite of financial services from retail banking to mortgage to corporate banking. So while PNC Bank is a full service financial institution, we view ourselves more than that. And that really is how we care and give back to our community.
Surf Soccer has been around for over 30 years. We're based here in San Diego, but we are the premier national youth sports brand in soccer. Our mission is to create experiences and opportunities for kids, but we also do it through our events where we really help kids chase their dreams.
There are a lot of kids in San Diego that have incredible levels of talent, but they can't afford to play on a team like Surf. And so a lot of our sponsorship dollars go back into scholarships.
PNC is literally one of the only people we've ever allowed to be in here as a sponsor because we know how committed they truly are to the community and how committed they truly are to kids.
We continue to look forward to investing back into youth, arts, and especially the military here. I mean, San Diego is a military town, and we are giant supporters of the men and women that fight for our freedom.
My name is Alejandro Eugenio Guido Perez. I play for the San Diego Loyal, and I'm a midfielder. Midfielder kind of does a little bit of everything. Attacks, defends, it helps organizes the press to win the ball back, and then defend in the low block, and then attack and create opportunities for the forwards to score and yourself. I started at a young age playing soccer. I did it here in Chula Vista, but I also played in Tijuana, Mexico. It's definitely been restorative to be back home and be at a club, such a great club that values the person, not just the player. I've been able to grow tremendously on and off the field and be taken care of by the family that's around me and supporting me.
So Southwestern College, the name of the mariachi is Mariachi Garibaldi, is the performing group that we have. We've actually had as many as 4 different ensembles, so 4 different classes, beginning, intermediate, advanced. And the advanced group is outstanding. We got that associate's degree in music with the mariachi specialization approved in 2004. And that was the first in the world anywhere. It's not a degree in mariachi music, it's a degree in music with a specialization in mariachi.
The ensemble is great. I mean, it ranges anywhere from 30 to 50, sometimes 60 members every semester. It's fantastic.
The NFL lives here. If it's about the NFL, you found the right station. Join 1090 every Sunday during the NFL season for the exclusive SoCal home of not 1, but 2 NFL games every Sunday during the season on the Mightier 1090 ESPN Radio.
Hunger is a year-round problem. The San Diego Food Bank and our North County Food Bank chapter provide food assistance at locations throughout the county. We need your help. Host a food drive, volunteer, or donate online. Thank you for making a difference.
Home of Guiding Hands helps San Diego community in that we're a resource for families. A lot of times when families first identify that their child, their loved one, might have an intellectual or developmental disabilities, they don't know where to go. They don't know what to do. And we're here to help guide people through that process, to show them what a thriving life their loved one can have. It's a passion I share, having a daughter with a disability.
I really love the place that I live at. Because of Home of Guiding Hands, I was able to move out of my parents' house and into a beautiful home that I love living in. And so if you have an independent living service coordinator, they will help you learn more about being independent, and they help guide you through different things. They've helped me with lots of encouragement and love. They've also given me an ILS worker who is an amazing person, and I love her so much. She's great. I could tell you the first, I think, week or so, I wasn't feeling very confident in myself. The first couple of nights, I was like, oh, this is scary. But I look back on it now, and I'm like, this is so easy.
Main Street Living celebrates diverse abilities in partnership with Home of Guiding Hands, supporting the special needs community for over 55 years.
Catch Scott Kaplan and crew tonight from 7 to 8 p.m. Pacific every Monday through Friday. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and crew show on the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk.